Welcome to the smartest people in the room. We are glad you are here, and just by showing up, you're already demonstrating your very own smarts. Today, I am pleased to present two people who, because they are so young, might not be quite so well known yet. However, trust me, guys, these are stars on the rise and will become household names in no time. I am so pleased you are here, and welcome to the best hour of your whole week. Before we get started, please let me take care of some business. First, to the audience, please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat window. The reason we do these webinars is twofold. First, we want to showcase really smart people and the amazing work they do day to day in the music industry. But the second reason is a bit more nuanced. Many of you know that I am a music industry headhunter. I run the music practice at Turnkey ZRG, and I place music executives in roles throughout the industry. So by definition and function, I help people connect with companies. And in this series, my goal is to help you make more connections, and I invite you to take full advantage of the opportunity. Specifically, I invite you to engage with the speakers and the other attendees in the chat of the Zoom. Please introduce yourselves, share your LinkedIn profile, say hello to your friends, and make some new ones. And ask questions of our speakers. We will try to address as many of those as possible during the session. Also, and this is really important, please make sure your chat is set to address everyone, not just the host and speakers. Okay? I want to thank our program sponsors for without their support, we could not keep doing this for free. Special thanks to MedJet, Turnkey ZRG, the Tennessee Entertainment Commission, Tennessee Brew Works, and Better Than Booze. So let's get down to business. And today's host seat is Audrey Gibbs. Audrey is a music reporter for the Tennessean. She writes about new releases in the Nashville music industry, reviews albums, and interviews artists both on and off the red carpet. She covers most genres, including pop, indie, alternative, R&B, rock, and country. Audrey graduated from Sewanee University, which is also called the University of the South, in 2022 with a degree in English. And in May of 23, she graduated from Columbia Journalism School, where she received her Master of Science in Journalism. At Columbia, she studied arts criticism, wrote her thesis on women's health, and learned the art of investigative podcasting. You can check out her audio work on season 3 of the podcast called Shoe Leather or Pretend. Audrey has also written for the Current GA in Savannah, Georgia, MS Magazine, and the Nashville publication called American Songwriter Magazine. Audrey, welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And joining Audrey as our featured guest today is Lili McGrady. Lili co-founded Humanable in September of 2024. She moved to Nashville in 2023 and accidentally grassrooted herself in the local dive bar music scene. After quickly making friends with talented musicians and songwriters, she heard the same concern repeatedly. I'm scared of generative AI and it's going to eat my lunch. Determined to fix it, Lili and her co-founders realized the solution may be in their backgrounds in the trademark industry, and the Humanable Trust Mark was born. Humanable's goal is to protect human-made music and its ability to be royalty-bearing in the age of generative AI. Humanable achieves this by certifying songs or masters as generative AI-free through affidavits and issuing the Humanable Trust Mark in cert number. It is my pleasure to welcome these two rock stars to our platform today. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Tom.
Great, great. So honored to be here. Lili, it's been a second since we chatted. I think it's been since October, right?
I know it's been a second. It's so good to talk to you.
Yes, I'm sure so much has changed. For background, Lili and I spoke for a Tennessean article briefly, maybe a month after the launch of Humanable. So tell me what has been happening since we chatted.
Oh man, so much. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of hard work. The most exciting thing that's happened is that we convinced Tim Wibberman to come and join us and as our CEO, which has just been a blessing. I didn't even understand when I was so excited about hiring him. I didn't know how amazing it was gonna be. Having him on board has been the the best change for Humanable since we spoke, by a landslide. We've also been, working with artists, musicians, talking to businesses, and trying to get this off the ground and get it into the music industry before it's too late.
Yeah, so let's give everybody kind of the background on how Humanable came to be. I know we launched, y'all launched in September during Americana Fest. So what's the background for people who might not be very familiar with Humanable?
Yeah, so yeah, Humanable, like Audrey said, launched in September 2024. During Americana Fest, we had a wonderful party at Santa's Pub. And it kind of started happening, it happened quickly. So my co-founders and I got the idea in, maybe it might have even been February, but it was February or March of 2024. And as soon as we did that first round of, market research to see if it was a, even a viable idea, we were off to the races, hiring the software guys, and we did a really quick launch because we wanted to be a little bit ahead of our time there. So we wanted to fix it, the three of us, and we also love trademarks. Which, who doesn't love trademarks? I love trademarks, but I feel like that's maybe a buzzword that people. But we wanted to fix it with what we had, and trademarks has been able to keep a lot of us safe from a lot of things. So why not this? So we came up with the idea for Humanable, and we like to describe it as like the sort of certified organic on your produce that you see at the grocery store, but for music. We know that this music was created by a human being, written by a human being. If it's recorded by a human being, no AI voices, so that everyone knows it was human for, finding fan purposes, yes, but also to ensure the piece's ability to be copyrighted and, bear royalties.
So I know your background is not necessarily in the music space or the tech space. So how did you find your way into this world?
By accident. Yeah, by wonderful, wonderful, happy accident. And when I moved to Nashville, to see where in the music industry I might fit in someday. I thought I might go to law school and, be a music lawyer. I didn't know. And I moved to kind of see what was up and learn a little bit about the industry and which kind of area I wanted to pursue. But before I got a handle on this, we got the idea and we were off to the races. And I'm so excited about this. Yeah.
Because you were studying theater, right?
Yes. I think
Wait,
I
tell us
think
about that. Yeah.
yeah, I think I mentioned to Audrey and
Yeah.
Tom a little bit earlier. I went to drama school. I don't know who I thought I was when I was 18, but I did. I went to drama school, and my bachelor's degree is actually in theater education and writing for performance. So obviously a big, well, it's still the arts world. I know how to, if I wanted to be a booking agent, I could
Yeah.
probably learn because ran a bunch of tours. But but yeah, I went to drama school. I actually went to Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, which is part of University of London in the UK, and I learned a lot. And I use my degree a lot more than I thought I would when I kind of switched paths for even things like this, you know.
I mean, playwriting, there's a similar issue. I mean, Gen AI
Yes,
can can write a play. Gen
that's
AI
definitely,
can
yeah,
write a song.
yeah.
It's
That's
um
part of where the passion comes from too. And, I hope that there's solution for very talented playwrights, screenwriters too.
yeah, I mean, who knows, maybe Humanable will even be able to certify
Who
works that are
knows?
even made outside of music one day. Yeah, and
I
can
can't tell the future, but who knows what we'll get into.
So how does it work? Like can you walk me through, you have a song, where does the process start with Humanable?
Yeah. So it's the beauty of it. What I love most about it is how easy it is. How simple. It takes up very little time. The most time consuming part is at the beginning because we verify your ID with Plaid. We're really strict about that.
Mhm.
So for businesses, we can do it in mass really quickly. Use, basically with an Excel spreadsheet for businesses looking to certify their whole catalog. They can absolutely do that quickly. Um, and for folks who are not represented by a publisher or a label, or even if they are and they want to, um, take this step on their own while they wait for the business backing them to learn about us and decide, yay, we want to work with them, which they will because we're great. But you can go to humanable.com and it's so easy. So you create an account with us, and the first thing we do before we let you into our system is, like I said, we verify your ID with Plaid, and that is the most time consuming part. It's rigorous. It usually takes less than 5 minutes, but it is rigorous. We know who you are, and we know that you're a human. We know you're the human you say you are. And the reason why we're so strict with this is because, you're going to sign an affidavit, you're going to sign a document. And so we want to be sure that we know obviously exactly who we're dealing with, but also because if we're not strict about it, we feel it's really unfair to the hardworking musicians who actually created their human-made music, and then we have imposters coming onto the platform and certifying everything. And also because eventually someone's going to lie to us, and we're going to need to know who you are. If you lied to us, it's not going to be a good day for you. But so that is it. And then once you're into the system, it is easy peasy. You can certify any piece of music at any stage. Doesn't have to be recorded. It doesn't even have to be fully written. If you want to bring this to a co-writer before you do anything else with it, and you want that humanable seal on it before you do that, you can absolutely do that to establish just trust between even just co-writers or a producer or anybody. And it's a really simple agreement. You accept that terms of service every time, and you are humanable certified right away, which is wonderful. And then we send you an email with the guidelines for how to use our brand, which is very, very fun. You can kind of do anything you want with it. You can put it on a record cover even if you want, just to let fans or if you're doing song pitches, anybody know, hey, I'm a human being. I'm not an imposter. I'm not a robot. I'm talented. Look at me.
So Tom asked in the chat, he said, what does it cost?
Oh, this is actually my favorite part, is that it costs a can of beer a month and $1 a song. So
Okay.
we really tried to price this in mind for something musicians can afford. That was really, really important to us.
Okay. So now for some what ifs. Like, say I'm an artist and I have this song that I used a little bit of Gen AI on, but y'all aren't gonna find it, so I'm gonna go Humanable certify it, right? You find somehow that I have perjured myself. What
Mhm.
happens from there?
Yeah, the full force of our general counsel, Jason Elster. And and also we will plan to refer them to their local attorney generals since we know where they are and who they are. Yeah.
So what safeguards do you have to, I guess, investigate that people are telling you the truth? How are you holding these people accountable?
So we are doing like we're doing random audits and also what we
Okay.
call like smelly fish audits. So, I see someone certified, but I've seen them on Instagram and they talked about how they were bragging about how this was a robot song or how they've used robot songs in the past. We're gonna check it out. We're gonna check it out. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So how many songs have we certified to date?
I think we have certified just over 4 million songs.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that is great. A lot of that is our users and a lot of that is so we have some of that is pre 2012 excuse me 2014 certified music that we're going to be pre-certifying. Most of it's going to be for free. Some of it'll be at a discount for um, later adopters. But that was exciting when I got that email from our tech guys.
Okay. And another question in the chat, Glenn says, is this a public company?
It is not. It is not a public company. We are it is the managers are me and then our two general counsels and that is the management system and we're so far so far that is where we're at. Not yet.
And another question, who is Tim Whipperman, if we don't know?
Tim Whipperman is our brand new CEO who I wake up every day. I can't believe I get to work with him. He has an incredible background as a CEO all over the music industry at Warner and one RPM, I think most recently, and then a bunch of Live Nation too. I think he's kind of been kicking butt around Nashville forever. Yes, thank you, Tom. Check out his LinkedIn page. He is very impressive. And also on a more anecdotal note, I wanted to hug him after his first interview, but I didn't.
Oh, and
Yes.
now, yeah, another great question in the chat from Sonia. She asked how the certification will show as metadata within the DNA of the song. How does that information get attached to the song over its product life and possible acquisition of the music product by other parties?
Yeah, so that is going to come down to the specifics of hopefully what we're going to do in the future. Our number one goal of Humanable is to work with streaming platforms to hopefully install a Humanable toggle so that listeners and fans can filter out robot music. I don't like robot music. I don't want my listening time to pay royalties to robots, and so I'm gonna just listen to human beings. That is really what we would love to do with streaming platforms. So all that will come down to the specifics of those streaming platforms. In the meantime, we are we are working on like the tech guys call this something really specific the other day. Like a more we'll eventually have more of like a public, not public, but a database to where our businesses that we're working with can access the data to know for sure, like, oh, let's see if this is certified, to kind of streamline the process for them.
Interesting. Yeah, and Sonia just followed up. What about a physical product as well, is what she said. Thank you for the info on streaming. What about a physical product as well?
A physical product. Well, I mean, folks can folks can certify anything, and if they want, they can put it on the record covers. There's no additional fee to put this on the record covers. That we would love that. That would be great. Right now, it's all, it's all electrons.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Have you seen other companies bringing similar um, products to market? And what's different? What's different between their products and yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most similar thing is there's an organization that is certifying like ethical uses of AI, which is great. We're cheering them on. It's just not what we do. So it's different, and we are and this may, this is our Achilles heel, is that we are complete purists about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are no generative AI. We really like it when it's curing cancer and diabetes. And my friend Christina Murray says, I really like it when it gets trash out of the ocean. But we don't, if it's in the music, we can't certify it.
Got you. Yeah, and Tim in the chat raised a really good point, or an important tidbit of information to know. AI didn't exist until 2014, so any song or master created before that, y'all automatically certified. And then you just decided that at AI's inception date, 2014 and onwards, that's when you were going to have to, kind of mine through everything.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. So if it's pre-2014, we are going to heavily discount that for you. Yep.
Cool. Okay. So where I know personally how you have kind of knowledge of trademarks, but when did you get the kind of aha moment that, okay, maybe we can come at this from a trademark angle? Like how do you know so much about trademarks?
Well, I I actually grew up in the trademark world. Such a common occurrence. Yeah, the trademark world I grew up in. I grew up in the trademark world. My dad is this like beloved trademark professional. And so many of my I actually think I saw Jo Marie on here. She's one of my favorite people on the planet. And she's from that like trademark world family, right? I saw her at the International Trademark Association meetings. I love her. I love so many people from that world. And so always kind of been around it and always knew a lot, like weird amount about trademarks when I was a kid. Yes, she says hi. So, knew a weird amount about trademarks because I wanted to learn things while I was there, and I did. And just kind of love that world. And I love how useful that trademark world is and how much it really does keep people and businesses safe. So I wanted to fix it. I didn't know if it was going to be like a kosher kitchen recording studio, but if someone's in there making an album for 6 weeks, not much you can do in a year. And also, I don't know that people are going to want to go in and do this with extra steps. And then my co-founder and I had an aha moment while on a business trip in Arizona. Something about Sedona, just like something about Sedona. I don't know.
What was the moment? Like when did it click?
At breakfast over like yeah. So it clicked at breakfast, overlooking this like beautiful pink mountain vista, eating like the most delicious croissant sandwich thing I've ever had in my whole life. And it it just clicked. We were kind of brainstorming solutions. Yeah. Jo Marie says it's the vortexes. I bet it is the vortexes. And it clicked. And then, man, a week later, we were like, this is a good idea, right? And yeah, it's a good idea. We ran from there. Yeah.
What have the challenges been so far with this idea? What's held you back from running, if anything?
Well, starting a business is always challenging and full of all kinds of bumps. I think figuring out and we have an incredible tech team and they've been wonderful, but that was figuring out everything that needed to be on there and how everything needed to work was a challenge. Because, like my background's not in tech. So the tech guys were very, very helpful and wonderful. But that was trying to figure everything out from scratch was definitely the biggest challenge. And also, I think people either like human music and want to save it or they don't. And that's been a little strange. But then I hang out in places like Nashville or I'm in Santa Fe at a songwriters retreat. Anytime I speak to an artist, they're like, yeah, no, we get it. Or anybody in the music business automatically understands.
And Tom also raised another explanatory point in the chat about how the humanable seal is going to go downstream and can help make sure people are paid their full
Yes.
royalties and can help with copyright issues. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think right now with AI, kind of smothering the marketplace as it is, and I think there's probably only, and generative AI, smothering the market music place, the music marketplace. We really only see that increasing, and it's, complicates copyrightability, and, I don't know that everyone is always going to want to pay royalties to robots, to non-existent people. So, that is so it makes me a little, but so we think that we're the best way to protect that ability to get that copyright, and once you get that copyright, collect your royalties, make your money. With everything kind of being up in the air, I think we're the best way to ensure that.
Can you explain a little bit more about how Gen AI is complicating the issues around copyright and royalties, like for someone who might not have a great grasp on this, like how how does using Gen AI affect your ability to get your royalties paid out and to get your copyright?
Yeah. So far, and things might change, but right now, the Copyright Office is saying, well, robots can't own copyrights, right? So if you can't own that copyright, then that whole royalty structure is at risk. And you need to, I think it's wise to be able to prove, look, I did this. Look, I'm a humanable certified. This song is humanable certified. I'm a human being. I wrote this. I'm not a robot. I need to be able to collect royalties from all these people who are listening to my work. And generative AI in your song has to be disclosed. So then if you get challenged and you say, oh, I wrote this song, generative AI only wrote part of it, right? And the opposing lawyer says, well, how much of it was written? And you say, oh, I don't know, like 10%. And the guy says, well, I think 99% of it was written by generative AI. Prove me otherwise. You can't. This is the only way to, and the best way to really keep yourself safe from these generative AI disruptions and, hold that copyrightability. So, yeah. And, when you look at scary statistics, like it's looking like in just a couple of years, a quarter of these royalties are going to be gone from human musicians because of the robots infiltrating the systems. Yeah.
That's
That's a
it's
big, that's, you know, millions and millions of dollars into the music industry. And that, as, you know, as a Nashvilleian, that scares me. Like just from like I love Nashville perspective. I love this town. I'm never living anywhere else, that sort of thing. I am really worried about the industry that kind of holds Nashville down. I'm worried about the music industry as a whole in LA and Miami, everywhere. Um, but it hits particularly close to home for me as someone who loves Nashville.
it's wild. I'm from North Carolina, but right down the street from me in North Carolina was this wild case of AI music fraud. I don't know if you saw that I mentioned it in the article that I wrote about Humanable, Lily, like back in October, but this gentleman was creating hundreds of AI songs and having bots
Yeah.
stream the songs, and he took home $10 million
Mhm.
in profits, and he was
Yeah.
charged with fraud. And that case is ongoing right now. I'm not sure what's happening necessarily in it. I don't think there's any new information out, but that's one of those cases where it was cut and dry. It was all AI, and we know it was all AI. The people listening to the songs were AI bots. The songs were AI compositions made by AI artists. But I think this raises a good question from the chat that Eli asked. Can a musical composition have a percentage of generative AI and still be copyrighted? There's a threshold of acceptance there, right?
Yeah, but also like one of our taglines, I may have also seen this in the chat too. Yes, I did. But you know, Paul is right when he says only 100% human made songs will hold 100% royalties. So if this is your career, this is what you do, and this is how you make your money. There's a lot of money left on the table there. And, you know, with things like streaming fraud, which are really scary as someone who loves a lot of artists in my life, loves a lot of musicians. Um, it's scary. It's scary to hear about everything that's coming after them, which is why we're here.
Yeah, and Cass in the chat said, the US Copyright Office is also going after performing rights organizations as well, which I think is interesting. Yeah, I mean, copyright offices are looking at AI, and they're looking at PROs, and they're looking at, you know, all of the factors in the music that they are copywriting and all of the like external pieces coming together. So do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think that so, you know, so far I know it's so complicated.
It's hard,
Yeah,
yeah.
with everything on the line, you know, everything, yeah, everything's on the line. Everything's being looked at, and a lot of people are, you know, you know, but anyway, it's a complicated time. But at the end of the day, I really hope the PROs support us so that we can help them keep their catalogs clean, you know, and well, and you know, that streaming fraud case is exactly why, you know, streaming platforms should get on board with us and hopefully install that toggle and so that they can help filter out the potential fraud in the system, make it better for them, have them pay less royalties to fake music and more to the people that really make their platforms amazing, which is human-made music, human-made
Yeah.
musicians.
Like that North Carolina man who is
Yeah,
taking home
yeah,
those $1 million. If you thought,
yeah.
hmm,
Hmm.
if all of these funds were distributed among artists with real listeners and real, I was cracking myself up as I was researching. I re-looked over the case of that guys today, and his bands, some of his fake bands, one of them was named Calorie Screams,
Hmm.
or Calvinistic Dust. So I was,
Calvinistic dust.
yes, the $10 million are going to
What
Calvinistic
sucks is that
Dust.
that would actually be a really cool name for a band.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of too bad. Now it's fraught with peril, but oh man. Hey, gotta give him style points.
Points. But Tom raised in the chat, what kind of corporate partners is Humanable pursuing when it comes to streaming and distro platforms and publishers?
Tom, the answer is all of the above. All of the above. Whoever we can help, um, keep the process clean and human made for you. We want you on board. We talked about the toggle we want for streaming platforms. DSPs, we want to keep this clean for you guys. Publishers, we want to certify your whole catalog for you so that this is all going to make me money. Or you are thinking about signing a kid to a pub deal, this kid's not a fraud. Look at this. He certified all of this. We want to keep you safe. All y'all.
And then a great question from Beth, but aren't the streaming platforms also making money off of AI or fake streams?
Sort of. No, I mean, not when it's fraud, right? Not when they have to pay this guy $10 million. But they are just, at the end of the day, they're being defrauded, right? That's why we want to work with the streaming platforms. I mean, the North Carolina case,
Yeah.
like back to that, it is crazy that, robots are taking advantage of this, and we want to help them too. Everyone in the music ecosystem, we think we can be really, really helpful for.
Do you think, and this is it's a ridiculous question, but do you think that maybe someday there will be streaming platforms that are entirely dedicated to only streaming AI music? And that's just how it's going to work. You can get on Spotify or you can get on Fraudify or whatever you want to call
Spotify.
it.
Oh,
But
Spotify. Man, I mean, that's a scary thought. I mean, at this point, nothing surprises me with this. But I also, I think that most, I think everyone in the music industry, including streaming platforms, want to keep the marketplace clean. I think everybody, but human beings can be retrained. So I don't know, well, no one would have done their banking online 20 years ago. I can't remember the last time I've been in a bank branch now. Human beings can definitely be retrained, which is why we're trying to get ahead of this now before that completely starts, because, marketplaces change, consumers change what they're consuming, and we're trying to save human-made art from being squashed.
so when we look into the future, I know you already said a fourth of the royalties are in jeopardy, but where
And
else
those are conservative numbers. Yeah.
well, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Where else do you see things going? Like what expert opinions and legal, I guess, precedents do you see for where we're headed? If you had to guess what things look like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line when it comes to the state of human-made art.
Yeah. I mean, I think it all comes down to that huge disruption and, copyrightability and royalties. And I don't know. I think that's what's so scary, is that I don't know what the music industry would look like in 5 years if we don't get ahead of this now, with those millions of dollars lost. And it especially breaks my heart for smaller musicians and, smaller labels and smaller publishing houses, right? That I don't know. What's so scary is it's not going to be good. if we don't get ahead of it, but I don't know.
So it's one of those things where you're like, I can't guess what this state of art is gonna look like because
It's not going to be, yeah, it's going to be skinny. Yeah. Yeah.
interesting. And Glenn asked in the chat how he can reach me later or how anybody can reach me later. I am at agibbs@tennessean.com, or if you go on the Tennesseans website and you can't remember that, there's like a little email toggle. So feel free to email me. I also have a website and my number is on the website, so you can also call me if you need to reach me.
Yes, and also very impressively, Audrey was just named 30 under 30 journalist
Oh, thank you.
just the other day. Very impressive. Congratulations.
You. That's my
Good.
Zach Kuhn's publication, The Nashville Briefing, does like a 30 under 30, and they have for I think the past like 4 or 5 years. So I'm grateful to him for including me.
Well deserved.
Thank you. I'm trying to think what we haven't covered yet.
Someone asked if AI tools disqualify you from certification with Humanable. They don't. The only thing that excludes you from Humanable certification is that if the song is not written by a human being, if it's recorded, if the musicians are, if the instrumentals are completely AI generated, and if there's vocals, if it's completely AI generated. AI editing tools are fine. The only thing that that disqualifies you is if the robot is doing the job of the creativity. And I know everything has creativity, but in the big three, right?
And Denise asked, do AI royalties go to the publisher since there are no people to pay?
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm gonna write that down too.
Yeah. I bet if Tim's online, probably knows the answer.
Interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's mostly robot, the folks who ran the robot who are, thinking that they found a lovely hack in the system are making that money. Yeah.
And then Tom asked, of the 4 million songs already certified, what percent of those came from full catalogs versus single entities or songwriters?
Oh, that is another question for the tech guys. I'm going to send an email. I would also really love to know what the percentage is.
Ah, I guess something that we haven't really touched on yet that I think is important to touch on, and I feel like probably a lot of industry folks on this call, at least the Nashville ones, have heard of the Elvis Act, and what we're doing in town, that we in Tennessee are also as a state trying to enforce the fact that um, now artists can protect their likenesses and their voices, and that's added to our privacy laws now. So somebody like Lainey Wilson, who maybe Lili and Humanable would be able to put the toggle on her songs, but can't necessarily protect if somebody's going to make a AI deepfake of Lainey promoting weight loss gummies, which happened.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, it did.
which is crazy. But
Yeah. I'm excited about it. I'm
yeah,
excited about anything that, moves public opinion in the right direction here.
so that's working in tandem with y'all. There's the
Mm-hmm.
you can toggle y'all are toggling the songs or working to toggle the
Yeah.
songs. But what's equally as scary is somebody's likeness or voice being used to promote products that they never used, never heard of, or say hateful things. And that's just an entirely different angle of, I mean,
Yeah.
there's the artist's art, and then there's just the artist's online uh,
Yeah. I
presence.
just saw a great point from Denise about Randy Travis. Yes, We are a big fan of Randy Travis with his generative AI music. I am very happy for Randy Travis, and we are cheering him on. We wouldn't be able to certify it at Humanable, but we're definitely not against it. We are, and we also like to say that we are not against generative AI. We're just deeply, deeply pro-human.
Mm.
So yes, but yes, cheering on Randy.
Yeah, and some background for listeners who might not know who Randy it or what Randy is doing with his AI music. He's lost his ability to sing largely,
Yes.
and is using AI vocals and help from some other vocalists to recreate, well, to create new music in the style of his voice, kind of altering the voices of other artists. Um, so that's another thing that's going on in town, and that's I feel like a use of AI that's been really championed. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe one of the only ones that I've seen.
I'm very happy for Randy. And
Yeah,
I'm glad that it creates, a way forward for folks who no longer have the ability to do what they used to do.
yeah. Have you seen any other examples of that happening in Nashville or?
Not in Nashville. And that's the thing is, and also, yes, thank you again for Denise, your comment about artists who struggle with their voice. We would keep cheering them on too. We just can't certify it. Woo, not just Randy.
Yeah, yeah. We're at such a an interesting. Tim said maybe we could give him an honorable status.
Oh yeah. Honor, yes. Not humanable certified, but we love you status.
Yeah, we're at such a interesting crossroads. Yeah, and Kevin said Randy worked hand in hand with his label, Warner, so that everything was above board, which is, the best way to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, big fan.
Cool beans. I mean, other spots that we're at when it comes to legally where we are with AI. Like I was researching before we got on this call so I could give any recent updates. And there was this big case that happened I think the ruling was the 17th. Yeah, 3 days ago. Um, Reuters versus this intelligence like AI company Ross. Have you heard of this, Lily?
Yeah, a little bit. Um,
Yeah, they it was kind of like a legal information platform that Reuters has called Westlaw, and Ross, this intelligence company, was using their head notes to train um, a competing AI platform, and they actually just ruled on behalf of Reuters the other day in Delaware court that that was not an acceptable use of fair use. And now I know that there are some music groups that are already using that case as precedent to to bolster their own cases, like this other one that I looked up, Concord Music Group versus Anthropic. They had a case where Anthropic was using some of the lyrics from copyrighted songs to train their AI lyric writing models. And now that we've kind of established that that's not necessarily fair and we can't just train on copyrighted works, I think that we're going to see a little bit of movement when it comes to AI training on human art.
yeah, we're gonna leave the advocacy to the advocates. We're gonna put our boots on and do what we can and see where we end up.
Yeah, and what's coming next for Humanable? Are there various things coming up that you're wanting to plug or excited about?
Yeah, there's lots we're really excited about. If anyone happens to be in the Santa Fe area, come to El Rey Court Friday and Saturday. We are Humanable is sponsoring a terrific weekend of writers' rounds here, which I'm here in Santa Fe to hang out with everybody and hope that some of their talent and brilliance rubs off on me. We are sponsoring Luck Reunion in Texas, which is very exciting for us. We are excited about that way to reach artists, and but we are really especially excited about two things happening in Nashville, which are we are sponsoring Tin Pan South. We are sponsoring a stage at Tin Pan South. There's going to be a Humanable stage, which is very exciting. And we are sponsoring the AIMP Awards too. And we are really excited to spend some time in the city where we're based. And what we're doing now is just supporting things that are exactly like AIMP and Tin Pan South and Luck Reunion and things that are deeply, deeply pro-human.
Great. And Josephine said, are there any events coming up in California?
None officially announced, but stay tuned.
Cool.
Guys, let me jump in here. I really appreciate you all doing this. Lili, this has been really enlightening to learn more about what Humanable is doing and what it's capable of. I had one question that I'd love addressed. Have you all raised money, gone out to any sort of fundraising mechanisms yet?
We have, but I am I can't say much more because of the SEC rules. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you all doing this today. Audrey, thank you so much for conducting a terrific interview. It's no wonder you are a under 30 superstar journalist and everything else. So good on you there. Audrey, Lili, we will continue cheering for Humanable from the sidelines here. To the audience, I promise this will be the best hour of your week. I can't talk today. And I think we delivered on that prospect. I want to encourage you all to come back next week at the same time. Meanwhile, I will sign off with my customary goodbye, and that is be nice to each other.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.